let me start this class out by saying, when you take a loss, fill in the blank. When I take a loss, dot, dot, dot. And I know I've asked you guys that question before. I'm hoping that every time I ask you guys that question, it changes. The answer changes. And it should. It should change, right? And because you are consistently working and getting better. And before you answer that question, who here believes that they are a better trader this month than they were last month? Put a Y in the chat box if you believe that you're a better trader this month than you are last month. Okay. Lee, MK, Joan, Travis. Excellent. Rookie, I don't know about you. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute.
If there's ever anybody that has gotten worse, no, just kidding.
That's okay.
Just
We
kidding.
can handle it, Dave.
3 and 50 is kind of magical, actually, because the 3 and 50 course is letting me see market structure at a different angle or a different perspective.
Sure.
And once now that I'm able to see it, and I know as a group we've been focusing on the 50 and the invisible 50, and that's helped out a lot. And Spicy Nick has shared a lot that has helped me as well, seeing the invisible 50. Well, his boot camp and a lot of feedback he's done. So with all that combined, the 3 and 50 to me is I don't want that course to end. The other ones I wanted to get through it and move on to the next one. This one I have the feeling of like I don't want it to end. What's happening is I always forget to silence that because I'm old school. I don't know if you heard that or not. But the 3 and 50 is really fun for me right now. I don't want it to end. Was it Kovash's boot camp? Man, I always get that mixed up. Sorry guys. Anyways, so
Spicy Nick is the one that talks about him in the third person. Kovash is the one that's the silent assassin.
That was funny. Yeah. Ed, I'll tell you this, Ed, he's not paying me enough.
Everybody always feels underpaid.
And a lot of, because I was thinking about it today. I'm kind of alone for a couple. I don't know how long I'm alone for, but I like being alone. It lets me think. But I was thinking about it today, and I don't know. I think it's a lot of things coming into play, but I don't know if it's timing of the 3 and 50 or if it's as a group what we're doing lately. But a lot of things are starting to kind of make sense to me a little bit better this week. So I don't know what it is, but I know I'm not blowing up accounts, and I know my drawdowns are staying under 2%, and so and that's a new thing for me.
I thought it will go back to the 50 here, so I put a trade here when I got the breaking here. So, but it didn't pan out. So my next layer was trying to, when I saw this consolidation here, okay, let's get in, trying to get the 50 out of here so I can get out, but didn't pan out. It broke out to the downside. So I started putting trade. Okay, let's try to get heavy because we already have like 1 price cycle, 2 price cycle. This will be the 3rd price cycle. So yes, let's try to put more trades. So on the first pullback, okay, I'm gonna get out of everything, and I put just 2 trade more because, well, you don't have any more on this account, so I cannot get like real heavy on 100K. And
right.
And then the market gave me this big bar, and yes, got out at the end of that, and then flip to the sell, okay, and continue hitting the 0.75 goal, okay, and I'm still doing that right now until I hit the 100. When I hit the 100, then I'll stop this kind of trading. So I'm gonna move to another thing that I'm preparing.
All right, so let me give you I hear what you're saying, and I think you're spot on in your assessment. But there's a couple things that I would say really quick right out of the gate is I think you got in here and you got out here. Then you got in here and
got out up there. Yeah.
Well, you must have got out right here, right? Because then you got a buy on that you got out all the way down here.
Correct.
So my question is, you're seeing sells and then you flip to buy. Why didn't you, well, this is the bad place to put a buy. I think you know that. I don't need to tell you that, but this is like bad PTP, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
And so if you have bad PTP, sometimes it's better just to close out, right? But I don't think that that's your issue. I don't like, I'm not going to say you have bad PTP, but you just close that trade out because this has really bad influences. And what it did is it influenced your decision to go into set to stay in cells, and it influenced your decision to add in trades to fix it. And so you let this one trade add these trades in to fix it. Because I think that if you'd never put that trade on, you probably would have been in cells, and that would have
Yeah,
changed your entire trajectory.
yeah, I probably be in cells here and then probably take the profit here because that will hit the goal line and then it will knock me out on this bar and probably I'll put a buy here.
I
Okay.
don't know. You wouldn't put a buy there because it's a bad PTP. But
Yeah,
I
but
think you would have recognized that this is rounding and it's coming to here. I'm pretty
Yeah.
confident you would have recognized that.
yeah, that's
And on
true.
this trade, on this trade right here is where you put your sell on.
Yeah,
Right? That's where you put the sell on. So I'm saying your problem with this entire setup here is this one trade.
correct.
And it really is. And I'm not, and it just happens to be bad PTP too, on top of that.
Yes.
And that's a lesson for almost everybody, that if you have a trade that you recognize as bad PTP, get rid of it because it will influence your decisions. And you don't want to start a setup bad, right? Because I really believe for you, William, that if you didn't put that trade on, you would have been in cells all the
yeah.
way down to here, at the very least, because it blew past it, right? Then you might have taken it out.
Yeah.
And that would have changed your entire trading day. Just that one little trade right there. However, your execution, once it broke here, getting in here on recognizing that you got your 3 price cycles and getting out here was good. You just probably, going back to Steven's comment earlier, is you're doing it the hard way, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to make it more difficult than it needs to be. I don't know if you've ever seen us do that in live trading where I'm like, okay, that's bad PTP, let's go ahead and take that off, right? And I say this one could potentially be bad PTP, but I'm going to put it here anyways because it just crossed over here and I want to get in at least one trade if it does move that direction. And then if it doesn't, then I'm like, okay, that one has to go and I'll knock it off. So what I'm saying is that this bad trade is really, really damaging. And the quicker that you can recognize that that's a bad trade, the quicker you will not add trades to support that bad trade. But think about what you just said, though. There was a point in your trading career that you had more losses than you have wins. Now you have more wins than losses, but the battle is still there,
Yes.
right? So what
Yes,
did you
sir.
learn? What did you learn in that process?
Well, I learned the stuff that you've been teaching about the 50s and the price cycles, and I see market structure a little better, and I know don't ever put a trade in the same direction on the third price cycle.
That'll burn you. But the connecting the dots really quick for you, Steven, is that what you learned is you're not losing anymore. You're fighting through what used to be a loss. You're converting that into wins. It's still a fight for you, but you're not losing the battles. You're winning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or do you feel that?
Well, sometimes I stopped Darwin like about 6 days ago. I said I've battled this sucker, and I've just continually have been going down. And I stopped it. And then after about 6 days, I felt like, oh, come on, let's get back in. So I was able to get back in. I'm in the same spot I was, but I've had 2 winning days so far. So that's
I think we all can. Well, who here remembers those days where you've had back-to-back and maybe even back-to-back risk outs, like 5% losses? Anybody ever have those days? Or just back-to-back?
The last couple of weeks.
Maybe even back-to-back-to-back. I remember it well. I remember it as if it was yesterday. Oh wait, it was yesterday. But that's the point, guys. I mean, I see a lot of improvement and a lot of you guys, just because I'm talking to them mostly in my hot seaters as I'm trading with them. Travis, Carol, do you guys have something like that in your arsenal where you have a trade quantity, and once you hit that number, you're like, oh boy, I'm heavy now. Have you guys tried that? Have you guys tried to put that into play?
Well, what seems to be working, and it is just making sure that I'm, proper trade placement, getting in at the right spot. Like really looking at the 50s and having my plan set as to if I get in here, where am I getting out?
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to have been helping me.
Your setup.
Yeah.
You have clearly defined entries and
So
exits.
that has helped from the last few sessions that you've been working on with the hot seater and in the hot seat class. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really being conscious of that.
Of identifying your setup. That will help too as well.
Yeah.
So will I don't know if you do nickel and dime when you're
And
when
I've
you're
been
trading?
doing that too, putting the 0.05 up, trying to
Mhm.
get there. Okay, and then securing my trades. And
How long have you been? So you said, well, I've been recently just talking about it like in the last week or so, but how long have you been doing these things, implementing it, like making a conscious effort to do it in your trading?
I would say the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so fairly recent, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen a difference?
Well, yeah, I'm not getting like I've sometimes I would get in. Oh, it looks like it's going to turn, so I'd start entering, and then it goes against me. And then okay, I think I'm getting in where it's going to turn again, and it goes against me. And then next thing you know, I'm in 25 trades, and I'm in trouble.
Has that happened in the last 2 weeks?
No.
So is there a direct correlation with what you're doing, or have you just been lucky the last 2 weeks?
No, it's just that I'm really watching where I get in.
Okay, you're making
And
a
when it's
conscious
starting to
effort
go-
for PTP and your exits.
Yeah, and
right?
also getting rid of, you look on the chart and think, oh, that trade's never going to come. So as we move up a little bit, I start cutting my trades.
I asked myself today, why don't you just start trading that live account? Because I don't know if I've learned my lesson yet, and I don't know if I have trust in myself to revenge trade. I mean, I did good yesterday where I walked away and I haven't. I want to take some more bigger drawdowns. In fact, I'd like to do some more. I'd like to risk out maybe with my Darwin account, because that account means something to me. The demo accounts, it's easy. You just create a new one or put more money in it.
Yeah.
But the Darwin account does have some meaning to me. But I would like to plan C it on my own one time. I would like to walk away and prove that I won't revenge trade before I do. That's what's going through my head right now to answer
So
your
what
question.
I hear you saying is that you don't trust yourself to not touch the stove.
I don't know what soap is, but yeah.
Stove, not soap.
Oh, the stove.
Not-
Okay.
Yeah.
Stove.
The stove. You don't trust yourself to not touch the stove, the hot stove, right?
Exactly.
You're like, ooh,
exactly.
look, I can touch it, right?
Mhm.
Just go to everybody who here has also been where Travis is at, where you've done a live account, you lost it, and how long did it take you to get back to that live account? Because for whatever reason, we'll just say it destroyed your confidence a little bit, right? So Spicy's been there. So if you don't know, if there's anybody willing to share a screenshot of their most recent trades and to go over it, this is a great chance for us to kind of review some of your guys' trading, and then I can tell you what your problem is. If you don't know you have a problem, let me tell you what your problem is.
My problem is I don't know what my problem is to know what my problem is.
It's better to live in ignorance. It's better to live in ignorance.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, right?
Exactly. Lee says, I have an issue when I'm down. I can't figure out the ratio as to when to take the baddies and take profits. Okay, so are you talking specifically on when do I need to cut trades versus holding on to them, right? Is that what you're talking about, Lee? Again, there's really not one blanket statement because every market condition and situation you might run into, but the best advice that I could give you is assign each trade a confidence score. And if that confidence falls below 50% from breaking even or making money, it needs to go, right? If you believe that trade is going to be a loser, then it needs to go. How it goes is up to you, right? And we have different things for that. You can pick and pop. You can add trades to pay for it. You can pop off the loss and pop off the win. You can just simply cut it. You can wait for the pullback. You can wait for one price cycle back, and it just has to go. If that confidence score falls below 50%, that you're below the 50%, and your belief is that you're not making money on that trade, like it's gotten away from you, it needs to go. And the quicker that you can cut that, the easier it will become, right? And the more that you cut it and just do it. Even this one I will say, you can learn this skill in a demo account just as easily as you can learn it in live, because it is so difficult to cut trades. But once you learn that cutting trades, you actually make more money, then that transfers over into any type of account that you're doing, right? And so that's what I would say, Lee, is that try to assign each trade a score, and if it falls below 50% that it's making money, get rid of it and try that for a little bit.